The rise of the SHEconomy, empowering women, transforming markets. In September 2019, Morgan Stanley released a landmark report that explored a growing economic phenomenon, the rise of the SHEconomy. The term captures the increasing influence women have on global markets, not just as consumers, but as leaders, innovators, and prime drivers of economic growth. This report sheds light on how gender diversity in the workplace and the evolving roles of women are shaping the economy in ways that both corporations and investors can no longer afford to ignore. The shifting paradigm, women in the workforce. Over the past decade, we've witnessed significant progress in gender diversity across the globe. The percentage of women in executive roles has risen steadily, particularly in Asia, where the participation rate has doubled since 2010. This uptick is more than just a statistic. It reflects a broader cultural shift where women are not only participating in the workforce, but are also ascending to positions of power and influence. For women, this is a pivotal time. The increased focus on gender equality, driven by media, public discourse, and policy changes, has paved the way for advancements in education, professional opportunities, and income. These changes are not only beneficial for women, but also for the broader economy. Companies that embrace gender diversity often see improved corporate governance, better performance, and stronger bottom lines. The economic impact of gender diversity. Morgan Stanley's research highlights two key trends that underscore the economic impact of gender diversity. First, there is a growing population of prime working age women in the US, many of whom are single and career-focused. This demographic shift is expected to have significant implications for the labor market as more women join the workforce, potentially boosting wages and driving growth in various consumer sectors. Second, the quantitative equity research team at Morgan Stanley has developed a proprietary framework for identifying gender-diverse companies. Their findings are compelling. Companies with higher gender diversity tend to be larger, have better stock returns, and exhibit lower volatility. This correlation suggests that gender diversity is not just a moral imperative, but a strategic advantage. The gender wage gap, a persistent challenge. While there has been progress in increasing women's participation in the workforce, the gender wage gap remains a stubborn issue. In 1980, women earned just 64 cents for every dollar earned by men. Today, that figure has improved to between 77 and 85 cents. But the gap is still significant. The reasons for this gap have evolved over time, with education and occupational choices becoming less of a factor, and motherhood emerging as a major contributor. As more women delay marriage and childbirth or choose to remain single, their participation in the labor force is expected to rise, which could help narrow the wage gap further. According to Morgan Stanley's forecasts, 45% of prime working age women in the US will be single by 2030, the largest share in history. This demographic shift could put upward pressure on women's wages and boost overall consumer spending. Women as economic powerhouses. Women already wield considerable economic power. They contribute an estimated $7 trillion to the US GDP annually and are the primary shoppers in 72% of households. With more women earning bachelor's degrees and becoming primary breadwinners, their influence on household spending is only set to increase. Single women in particular are a key driver of economic growth. They tend to outspend the average household in several categories, including apparel, personal care, and luxury goods. As their numbers grow, so too will their impact on the economy, creating opportunities for businesses that cater to this demographic. Women in leadership, a global perspective. The rise of the SHEconomy is not limited to consumer spending. Women are also making strides in leadership positions across the globe. In the US, women now make up nearly 25% of Congress, a significant increase from just 2% in 1970. In the corporate world, more women are serving as CEOs, board members, and in other high-profile roles. These gains are not just symbolic, they translate into real economic benefits. Research shows that gender-diverse companies tend to outperform their less diverse peers. This outperformance is likely due to the unique perspectives and experiences that women bring to the table, which can lead to better decision-making and stronger financial results. The relevance of the 2019 report in 2024. The predictions made in Morgan Stanley's 2019 report on the rise of the SHEconomy have largely proven accurate. Though the landscape has evolved due to significant events like the COVID-19 pandemic and broader shifts in economic and social dynamics. As of 2024, the economic influence of women has continued to grow, even exceeding some earlier projections. Women have increasingly become major drivers of consumer spending, contributing significantly to GDP growth. In 2023 alone, women's economic impact in the US was estimated at nearly $9 billion, with expectations that by 2028, they will control 75% of all discretionary spending. This reflects a significant shift in consumer dynamics, where women, whether single or married, are taking the lead in financial decision-making within households. Gender diversity in the workforce continues to be a critical factor for corporate success. Companies that have focused on improving gender representation at all levels have consistently outperformed their peers. Morgan Stanley's Holistic Equal Representation Score, HERS, remains a valuable tool measuring and promoting gender diversity. Companies with higher HERS scores have seen better financial returns, confirming the positive correlation between diversity and profitability. The COVID-19 pandemic, however, introduced new challenges, particularly for women in the workforce. Women were disproportionately affected by job losses, especially in sectors like hospitality and retail, which were hit hardest by lockdowns. Many women also faced increased responsibilities at home, further complicating their ability to maintain full-time employment. This led to a temporary setback in the progress made toward gender equality in the workforce. However, as the economy has recovered, there has been a renewed focus on supporting women's re-entry into the labor market, with businesses recognizing the long-term economic benefits of doing so. Despite the progress, challenges remain, particularly in closing the gender wage gap, which persists stubbornly at around 19%. The pandemic highlighted the vulnerabilities in women's employment, particularly for women of color, who faced even greater challenges. However, there is optimism that the rising influence of Gen Z, with their strong focus on diversity and equity, will drive further positive changes in the workplace and beyond. The future of the SHEconomy. As we look to the future, it is clear that the SHEconomy is here to stay. Women will drive the economic conversation, both as a workforce, propelling better company performance, and as consumers powering discretionary spending and GDP growth. For investors and corporations, the message is clear. Embracing gender diversity is not just a social good, it's good business. The rise of the SHEconomy represents a seismic shift in the global economy. As women continue to break barriers and redefine their roles in society, they are also reshaping the markets. The companies that recognize and adapt to this new reality will be the ones that thrive in the years to come. The SHEconomy is not just a trend, it's the future.